out with a new album. Karen Drucker has come out with a new album. Stowe Good has come out with a new album. So I encourage you to go check them out because they all have awesome music. Good morning. It's just so great to look out and see all your beautiful faces. And because when I came in here early, so I didn't see all of you out there. So it's just really good to see you. And I want to say thank you to Kat. I had no idea that she was putting that together today. I had no idea it was Pastor Appreciation Day. But thank you so much. That just touched my soul, made me very emotional. And thank you. And the cool thing is that I always feel so appreciated by this spiritual community. So thank you for allowing me to get to do what I love to do. It's a wonderful thing. I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone who came out yesterday to support our Pride, our citywide Pride event, but also to support, This was the parade. This was the amazing booth that was spearheaded by Mary Hilsebeck Huber, and of course and then James was vital in this whole wonderful experience that we had. Our two volunteers that came out early to help get that all set up, but then many of our other volunteers. It was just an incredible day. We got to talk to so many people, and the awesome thing is that we got to tell them our message. We got to say to them that you are not a sinner, that you have been born into original blessing, that God never made a mistake in its creation, and that you have a place where you will be fully welcome at Unity of Springfield. And what an awesome day. I want to encourage you next year, if you can, to become involved in this, because those of us who were there, wow, amazing. So thank you to everybody. Okay, so here we are. We are in our second week of our 7-week series based on the book, Discover the Power Within You, a guide to the unexplored depths within. What a perfect song to start with, huh? Get ready, my soul. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, I'm diving in. And we are diving in. And so we started last week by talking about the first aspect of Discover the Power, and that is the great discovery. So I want to share with you what Eric Butterworth says about our master teacher, Jesus the Christ. He said, Jesus did not come to found a new religion. He said in Matthew 5:17, do not think that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have come to fulfill the law. And the word fulfill, according to Webster, means to bring to completion or reality, to achieve or to realize. So he came to bring the law to its completion because it had served its purpose for that generation, for that culture at that time, and came to help us to achieve or to realize the meaning of the law as it is relevant to us today. Again, I've said this before, we say that the Bible is the living Bible. It's a living Bible because we don't take it literally. It's a living Bible because we get underneath and we, look at things metaphysically and we bring it to its beautiful meaning for us today. So, and of course, this is to live from an awareness of the power within us. He said that he formulated no creeds. He created no ritual. He didn't have any theology. I know that could be a surprise to many, but he didn't. That the Alpha and the Omega of his teachings was the divinity within every human being. He pointed to that over and over and over again. What we call in Unity, the Christ principle, the Christ potential. And he said in John, is it not written in your law that I said ye are gods? What? And Eric goes on to say that he was a vitalizing religion of the Spirit, leading men and women to a direct, personal, intimate relationship with God. And so we have that direct, personal, intimate relationship with God as we open ourselves up more to the revealing of that Christ spirit, of that divine potential within us. That's where we really feel that relationship. And we also talked about the importance of meditation, and I hope that you've been working with this, even 5 or 10 minutes a day, just to take that time to be still and just, as we said, open out the way for your imprisoned splendor to be released, and just making that time to be open to that. And you know what the word splendor means? Magnificent. So we are opening out the way for our imprisoned magnificence to be released. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to let that imprisoned magnificence come out? Anybody? I'm hoping we all do. So that's the great discovery. So today we are talking about the great decision. And bottom line, the great decision is, what will it take for me? What am I willing to do to release my imprisoned magnificence? What will it take for me to lower my structures of knowing? So our structures of knowing are the invisible walls of unconscious beliefs that we have taken on and built around everything in our life, any area of our life, around our health, around our finances, around relationships, our worthiness. It's these invisible walls that we have built that keep us in a limited view and a limited life experience. And it's like putting blinders on a horse. You put the blinders on the horse and for a purpose, so that the horse can only see what's in front of it. But the reality is there's all this other stuff around the horse that the horse can interact with, but the horse can't see it. And it's the same with us, my friends. We are so much more than how we view ourselves to be. We have so much many more potentialities and possibilities accessible to us, and letting down those structures of knowing. And I've shared this before, but it was such a profound experience when it happened. When my second husband, he passed away on a Saturday evening, and that day, during the day, and he was detoxing from an alcoholic relapse. And so what I recognize in hindsight, that he was really kind of in both worlds that day. And so at one point he was standing in the refrigerator, and he just started looking around like he had this awe in his eyes. And I'm like, what are you seeing? And he said, people have no idea what is all around us. And I didn't get it that day, but I got it after he passed, because I realized he was actually seeing what is all around us. And that's, to me, so much of what this decision is about, is opening ourselves up to seeing, to being willing to see that there is so much more to us than we see. There's so much more to other people that we see. There's so much more possibility and potentiality to our life than we've currently been experiencing. So, what will it take for me to act from the knowing that I am so much more than what I believe about myself or what I see in the world? And the word knowing means done in full awareness. So what will it take for me to have that full awareness, to live from that full awareness, that I am so much more than I believe about myself, that I'm so much more than I believe about myself, and that I am so much more than I believe about my divine potential? Because I think that in our humanness, we don't really focus on our divine potential, because we get busy, don't we? And we may get up in the morning, may do some prayer and meditation, then whoosh, we're out for the day. And then this has taken our attention, and that's taken our attention, and here we are here, and this is going on here. And we forget to center ourselves in all that we are doing, in all that we are being. And I'll tell you, it takes practice, and eventually, the more you practice it, the less you have to become consciously aware of it. But for a while, we're going to have to become consciously aware of being open to that divine potential and that guidance that is within us. So what will it take? The Apostle Paul says, and we had this scripture this morning, and I really like that scripture better. Be not conformed to this world. Be not conformed to the pattern of this world. I think that was from the New International Version. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We've heard that a lot, haven't we? Yes. So Eric Butterworth says here in just 16 words, Paul reveals both the greatest problem facing mankind today and also the key to man's salvation. And salvation simply means deliverance from harm, pain, ruin, or loss. So why do we stay small? Why are we not more authentic? Why do we keep repeating experiences that we don't like? Anybody ever repeat experience, maybe different people or different places that we work, but it's the same experience over and over? Anybody? Everybody. Why don't we go for our dreams? Why do we not believe that we can be more, that we can have a different and a better life? Because we are conformed to the patterns of this world. And to conform means to behave according to social acceptable conventions or standards. We believe about ourselves what our culture has told us. We believe about ourselves what our religion has told us. We believe what others have told us. Preachers, teachers, parents, siblings, ourselves, we definitely believe what we have told ourselves about us, generally unconscious about that, but we believe what we've told ourselves about ourselves. And things like, I'm not educated enough, therefore I can never get the job that I want. Or I'm not pretty enough or good looking enough, or I'm overweight, therefore I do not deserve love. I'm not worthy of love. I don't fit in because I'm different, or I could never be as good as anybody here. Ever compare? You ever compare? Comparison most of the time will take you down a road that is going to make you feel bad, right? Yeah. It's good when you see somebody that you want to aspire to be like them. That's totally different than comparison. Or how about, I am not enough. I am not enough in general. There is, and that was on the video this morning, there's a universal sense of not enoughness, a universal sense of that I am not worthy, I'm not good enough. And perfectionism. How many of us were raised by a parent that we could never quite please? Anybody deal with perfectionism? Yeah. How about I'm too old to change my ways, or this is just the way that I am and I can't be different? How about women can't do that? Or how about tough it up, men? Men don't show their emotions. How many guys have had to deal with that? Someone shared with me that she grew up hearing, you're never going to be successful if you are overweight. That was the message that she got when she was growing up. I grew up witnessing that you can work hard, but you're still not going to have enough money. You know, so it's like, it's looking at some of these things that are going on in our unconscious mind that are still running the show for us, and opening ourselves up to revealing them and then changing them. So we have conformed to beliefs and patterns that are outside of us. You know, how about what beauty looks like, and the extremes especially that women go to try to live up to a made-up standard. Wow. We have been so conformed to the patterns of this world. We have been conformed to what the idea of success looks like, that rich is better at any cost. And our great teacher said in Matthew, what good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Think about that. Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? Webster tells us that the word soul is the spiritual principle embodied in human beings. So, what good will it be for me to conform to things outside of myself and forfeit the divine potential within me? Is there anything truly worth squishing that down, not allowing that to come out. And the answer to that is a loud no. There is not. Whether it's relationships that you may lose, jobs that you may lose, or whatever, I promise you, not really following that deep soul urge inside of you will hurt you in the long run. So it's so important for us to be aware of that. Eric Butterer says, in the hour of personal decision, there are times when each of us must ask himself the question, shall I conform to the human standard of what is being done, even if this standard is not in keeping with the divine standard that I have intuitively sensed? Can we relate to that? Times that we're not being true to ourselves, times that we are pulling back, times that we are playing small, times that we're fearful of expressing who we really are and what we're really about. Yes? He says that the greatest mistake is in believing that we are only human. I hear that so much. Well, I'm only human. And he says our humanity is but the degree to which we have given expression to our divinity. We are human in expression, but divine in creation and limitless in potentiality. In other words, we are not the limited beings that we have decided that we are from some unconscious level. Jesus said in John, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So what is that freedom? Eric says, it is not license to live without restraints, but the inward motivation to tame the raw spiritual power that is within us. Doesn't that sound cool? The raw spiritual power. Think about that. Raw spiritual power is in you and always has been and always will be. To harness our divine potential and to move in the direction of our highest good. So how do we live from this divine potential? Well, first I want to say this, that just because we're doing the spiritual work doesn't mean that all of a sudden miraculously, and I've said this before, I'm going to pop out of the toaster and I got it all. I've got it all together. I'm a different person. It can happen. It can. People can have immediate, transitions to things. That's absolutely true. And yet for most of us, the changes come about through a metamorphosis. And it takes time, and it takes trust, and it takes a willingness to do the inner work that we need to do, to do the inner work that we need to do, to do the inner work that we need to do. Amen. Yes. So the caterpillar to the butterfly is the best example, and Eric says, consider the caterpillar. I love this so much. It is self-evident that the caterpillar and the butterfly live in entirely different worlds, and no one would ever say that a caterpillar is a butterfly or that a butterfly is a caterpillar. And yet we know that the caterpillar and the butterfly are simply different levels of the expression of one entity. I love that. It's that reminder that here I am an entity expressing, but I have many different aspects of my beingness that are yet to be birthed, that are yet to be born, that are yet to come forth. The caterpillar can fly, but not as a caterpillar, only as a butterfly. He has the potential, but something has to happen within him. Now, the caterpillar will make that transformation unless it dies before it makes that transition, because it's encoded in the caterpillar to become the butterfly. And that's the difference between us and the caterpillar and the butterfly. We are absolutely encoded with the divine potential, the Christ, and it's always ready to emerge. We are encoded. We have come into the world with that divine potential. But we were gifted with something that is a wonderful thing, but that also can trip us up. And that is a thinking mind and free will. It's both and, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Many times we choose unconsciously to live in the caterpillar stage and to never really allow that whatever it is that's wanting to, again, be birds through us and as us to come forth. And that's because of our structures of knowing. But the great, magnificent, wonderful, awesome news is that we can change the trajectory of our lives with these principles and with our thinking mind, and we can release that which is desiring to emerge from within us. And, I can just say, I've been in Unity for 34 years. And as I said on the pre-video, that, when I came into Unity and the first message that I heard was that I was good, that in and of itself changed my life. And I never looked back. Unity has transformed me in the most miraculous, amazing ways. By not only intellectually knowing these principles, but by diving in and by letting myself be saturated with them, and then by living them. I mean, I am a different person today than I was 34 years ago. And in a great way, I am a different person. I am so grateful for Unity and for what Unity is about. Eric says, don't delude yourself that there is only one way that you can release your potential. You must be changed and you must be born anew. We must be transformed by the renewal of our minds. So he shares that there was a traveler in ancient Greece that had lost his way, and he was seeking to find it. And he came upon a man on the side of the road who happened to be Socrates. And he said, well, how may I reach Mount Olympus? And it said that Socrates gravely replied, just make every step you take go in that direction. It's kind of like, duh, huh? But it's true for us in our lives. And Eric says there's only one way under the sun by which man can achieve his Mount Olympus. That is to achieve the realization and the unfoldment of his own innate divinity, and that is by bringing about a permanent and radical change for the better in his or her own consciousness. This is what it will take to live from the great discovery, our Christ selves. One of my favorite scriptures that I share this a lot is from Ephesians. Wake up, O sleeper, and rise that the Christ may shine his light on you. So we must wake up and we must become aware of where our consciousness is. And I've said this many times and I love it. It's to think about what you're not thinking about when you're thinking. Did you get it? So we want to become aware, what am I thinking about when I'm in that unconscious place? What are my thoughts? What am I believing about myself? What am I believing about what I can be, what I can do? What am I thinking about when I'm not thinking about what I'm thinking about? These are the things that we really want and need to get a hold of. And Shakespeare tells us, to thine own self be true. And, that self is the self with the capital S. To our own authentic expression of the Christ, that divine potential, be true to that. That, my friends, is the great discovery. So for this week, I want to encourage you to contemplate what is longing to be released in you. What have you stifled or repressed in your being that if you allowed it to express would bring you greater joy, greater peace, greater freedom? What is maybe that something that you have always wanted maybe to do or to express? Maybe it's art, maybe it's music, maybe it's gardening, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's becoming a stronger expression of yourself. Whatever it is, think about what is desiring to express through you. What are your structures of knowing that you need to let go of in order to make way for the imprisoned splendor that is ready to emerge? And this will take some thought. But I promise you that doing this work, it will change your life. Because I promise you this, every single one of us have many unconscious beliefs that are still, that's what's moving our life. That's what's moving us in whatever direction we're going. We get a hold of those and you bring them out and you go, oh, here's this belief. Is it mine? Is it my parents'? Was it my teacher? Was it my religion? And sometimes you'll be able to go, you know what? That belief works good for me. And many times you'll go, oh, hell no. Yes, I said it in church. This belief is keeping me here and I want to be here. But doing that work, bringing it out, and then transforming it. And then what thoughts need to be transformed in order to release the ties that bind you and live more fully from your Christ consciousness. The great decision, my friends, is to say yes to your potential, but also saying yes to truly knowing and living from that awareness that there is something within you. It's within every single one of us. It will guide you. It will bring you great freedom. It will bring you great peace. It will bring you great joy. And that in unity is what we call the Christ principle, the divine potential. So I want to close with what Eric had in his book, and this is what Henry David Thoreau said, and I'm sure we've all heard it, but I'd love it. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, okay, we're gonna endeavor to live it. That means we're taking action, right, to live the life that we are imagining. He will meet with success unexpected in common hours. He will put something behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him, or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings. And that is what's possible for every single one of us, to live with the license of a higher order of beings and having that guide and direct us. So as we're moving through the series, I really want to encourage you to think about something that you're ready to let go of, something that you're ready to move more fully into, and keep that as your focal point for the next 5 weeks as we do this together. And I say to you, it can be namaste or namaskar, that the divine in me sees and celebrates the divine potential in each and every one of us. Namaste.